So I've had people ask me, Russ, why did you and your wife move to Tulsa? What has kept you here? And what was the inspiration to come to Tulsa? I had never really been to Tulsa. I had visited once, and that was about it. And it was an overnight stay and then back on the road on the way to college. Didn't really get to explore a lot of Tulsa, so I didn't have any real knowledge of the area other than it exists on the map. So when we started making the decision, we got married in 2013. 2015, we made the decision to make that move. I needed a change in terms of career and business because things weren't going smoothly in the car business. I'd been at a dealership for 3 years and moved to another dealership after six and was there for 6 months. Before we made that move, I had completed this dealership chains finance and insurance manager training, gotten certified for that particular position. Uh, at that time, knew the contracts inside out, front, back, top to bottom, knew it all. Was even recommended by the trainer that I needed to be put into an F&I position quickly. Unfortunately, while she didn't have the power to do that, the folks who ran my dealership did, and I just feel like I continuously got held back on that end. Nothing against the dealership, nothing against the chain. A part of it was I was also burned out, plain and simple. But in 2015, we made the jump up here. I came up in July, started a new career path with a new company up here, and I was with that company for 3 years. The first year we lived here, we lived with my wife's grandparents in Tulsa proper. Absolutely loved it, and it helped us kind of get a bit of a bearing underneath us to figure out what our next steps were going to be and what we wanted to do. When we lived in Dallas, we had started talking about buying a house because we had planned to stay there. We planned to call Dallas home. And unfortunately, for what we were finding in the price point that we could afford in Dallas, we weren't finding a lot. And what we could find needed a lot of work and was, by now in hindsight, probably very sketchy to even qualify for an FHA loan. That being said, moved up here, lived here for a year, ended up deciding to build a house, which we kind of pulled the trigger on about 6 months after moving up here because we saw what we could qualify for. We did want our own space. Um, we kind of had a low budget at that time. We were thinking FHA at the time as well too. Uh, but here's the ironic part: is once we found out how much we could qualify for in Tulsa and what we could find in that price point, we were able to build new construction at a higher price point and have a lower payment than we did on our rental 600 square foot, one bedroom apartment in Dallas. And we won't even get to the utility costs in that end either. Our Dallas utilities in an apartment were around $300 a month every month. And then moving to Tulsa, I mean, we in the summer our bills were maybe at worst $200 in the summer. During the winter, electric bill not terrible at all. That being said, um, there were a couple reasons why we moved here. We tossed around a couple different areas, a couple different parts of the country we thought about going to. Arizona was on the list, Florida was on the list, obviously Tulsa was on the list. We even thought about moving further south into Texas. Uh, Austin was kind of thrown around, a little bit higher cost of living than Dallas, so they kind of got nixed unless we could find like really good paying jobs for both of us that made sense. And then Houston was also on that list too, and we kind of tossed around a couple different ideas. Um, but the big one for us was we wanted to move here because of family, and that's what kept Tulsa at the top of the list. Her grandparents lived here, two of her sisters lived here, and we decided that's where we need to be. That's where we need to go. So I locked in a job, moved up here July of 2015. My wife came up about a month and a half after that, and she transferred within the company she was at, and they were able to move her up here. They paid some moving expenses to make it easier on us, and that kept things simple. That being said, family wasn't the only reason we moved here. Affordability was the number one key that we saw at the end of the day, too. Um, Dallas has all the pro sports: pro soccer, pro baseball, pro hockey, pro basketball, pro football, all those things. But it was all kind of unaffordable. If you weren't making a really good living, it was hard to be able to go enjoy the entertainment aspects of what Dallas had to offer because Dallas wasn't cheap. Dining wasn't cheap, entertainment, sports, it was all expensive. And that was kind of a letdown for us on that end because we had high expectations and high hopes that we could call Dallas home and have the ability to enjoy both the living and entertainment side of life. And unfortunately, we weren't able to achieve that in Dallas. We just had to live. So, that being said, we moved here. I got a new job. We built that house. Found out that our mortgage payment was less than our rental payment. Found out that our utilities were cheaper than what they were going to be on the other end as well too, from the apartment, and it all just started to kind of happen really well. The That was kind of big reason number two is the affordability. Now, by no means is Tulsa a very boring location. We still have an arena football team. We do have hockey. We have a minor league baseball team. We have a soccer team. There are college athletics. You can go watch college basketball. You have University of Tulsa and you have ORU, both very good schools, both have pretty good basketball programs. There's University of Tulsa football if you want some college football. That brings in some great football games there to the area. You could drive to Stillwater, go watch OSU. You drive to Norman, go watch OU. You go to Oklahoma City and watch the Thunder play. There was plenty of options here in the area. It's an hour and a half drive to get to any of those things. You can even go an hour and a half and go to Fayetteville and watch the Arkansas Razorbacks play too. So, all that to say, there's more affordability in the entertainment aspect of Tulsa as well too, because it's not crazy expensive to go out and enjoy an evening with your family or with your spouse or on a date or whatever that happens to be. The second thing we found too was housing was crazy affordable here. What we ended up spending on our first home and what our mortgage payment ended up being was significantly better than what we were paying in rent. And for us, we wanted to build investment properties down the road and kind of have a portfolio to help kind of give ourselves a start in life and towards our retirement to have a basically supplemental income to what we could save up over time. I got into real estate in 2016, got licensed at the end of 2016, got my license placed with Keller Williams in 2017, and started selling houses at that point. Jumped in both feet in. After about a year, was able to leave the other job that I had at the time to focus solely on real estate, and I just haven't looked back since. Um, one of the beautiful parts about living here, and one of the things that I find to be one of the best elements of Tulsa is the people are fantastic. There's plenty to do. There's great food. It's affordable to live. You can get anywhere in Tulsa within about 20 to 30 minutes, and that's around the full region of Tulsa. We live in Broken Arrow. To go downtown, it takes us about 20 to 25 minutes, depending on traffic. But we can go downtown, enjoy things. We have a performing arts center, so we can go watch any kind of plays, shows, anything like that. There's a couple of great concert venues, the BOK Arena, a couple other little locations that are like that. We go to the baseball games, we go to the hockey games. We've developed relationships with people inside of those organizations as well too, because it's that small town feel while being a larger city. That being said, Tulsa is a fantastic location to call home. I think a lot of people kind of forget how nice this place is. We have a great park system. We have fantastic people that live in this area. The homes, there's so much charm, especially in the Midtown area and Tulsa proper. There's so many like just beautiful homes that have a lot of charm, that craftsman style. You get out into the suburbs, you start finding the newer construction, the larger lots, and there's so much variety. There's so much to pick from. And again, affordability was just the key factor for us. The dollar stretched a lot further making that move here. So if you're thinking about making that move, if you're thinking, hey, Russ, we've thrown Tulsa on the dartboard, we don't know if it's the right place for us or not, give me a shout. Let's talk a little bit about strategy, what that looks like for making that move here, what that affordability looks like for you as well too. We can figure out what works best for you. Of course, I've got great lenders who can help you figure out your solutions on that end for the lending side to really make sure that budget fits what you're looking for. And of course, I'm happy to be a guide and tell you anything you need to know about Tulsa or give you recommendations for anything to go experience while you're here. Drop me a DM, send me a message, let me know how I can help. Y'all have a great rest of the day.